Inktober date. You know what? Let's take a break from Inktober, okay? You guys have seen quite a few weeks of Inktober. Why don't we go back to our regular scheduled programming, and why don't we do an episode of the Throwback? You know, because I'm thinking, going back into this, why don't we go back to one of the most important points in my career, and that would be my first job at Marvel. So how did I get my job at Marvel, and what book did I work on? Well, you're going to find out right now. Okay, so let's take you back to just say 2000 and I would like to say 2004, if I'm not mistaken, 2004, 2005, around there. Well, let's take it back even earlier than that. Like, I've been trying to get into Marvel forever, and I'm talking forever, and I've been talking to them, I'd say, since, I think, when I first started Armada, so that'd be 2001, 2002, and most of my contact has been with CB Sabuski, who even today is like a talent scout for Marvel, and he's the one who finds the people and then gives their work to different editors. I wasn't just talking to him, I was talking to all sorts of different Marvel editors. One in particular, Mike Martz, he was really, is that him? Mike Martz, yes. He was doing X-Men at the time, and he was really, really helpful in trying to get my artwork to the next level. So I think Marvel always saw potential in my artwork, but they never found artwork for me to do, or a book for me to do when I needed it, in all honesty. And I think I had a sniff at a Marvel job, and I think this was around 2003, and I was off work for quite a while, and I was talking to Dreamwave again, and we were talking about me coming back and doing some concept work for them. So literally 2 days after I got my job back at Dreamwave, Marvel called me. And Marvel said to me, "Hey James, you know, we have this Spider-Man story for you to do. You know, it's like a 14-page Spider-Man story." It was actually CB Sabuski who actually called me, and he said, "We'd like you to do it." And I'm like, "Dude, I just got back to Dreamwave. I already committed to coming back." And I'm like, and I thought to myself, you know what, I can still do it. And then they were like, "You know what, James, you know, we don't want you to rush. We want you to do your good work on this. Finish what you have to do with Dreamwave, and then we'll come back and give you more work." And I'm like, okay. And that come back to give me more work didn't happen for a couple years, okay? I was starting to post on my blog. It was jamesrays.blogspot.com, and it's still up. You can still see some stuff on there. And I was starting to do some pinups, just for fun. I was doing some pinups, and one of the pinups was this, and I'll put it right beside here. This was a pinup of the Hulk that I did. It was actually my first attempt at the Hulk, and this was very influenced by David Finch, a lot of what he was doing with New Avengers at the time, and I was really influenced by the way he drew the Hulk, and I wanted to draw a Hulk like that, and I drew this image. And out of the blue, I get a call from a guy. His name is Nate Cosby. Nate Cosby, he was an assistant to Mark Pancina. I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. Nate called me, and he's like, "Hey James, we have an opening for you." Okay? It was on a title called Hulk Destruction. Hulk Destruction. See, Nate was looking for someone to help fill in because the artist at the time, Jim Muntz, who is a really good artist, but he was falling behind on his schedule. So they're looking for someone to help take some of that responsibility from him, doing half of the book. And Nate, looking through, you know, some of the samples that I've done, and then he saw this image of the Hulk that I did, and he thought that I would be a good fit to do the other parts of that book of Hulk Destruction. So he gives me a call, and I remember he called me, and I believe I was at the flea market with my wife, and he calls me up, and he said, hey James, would you like some Marvel work?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course I would like some Marvel work." And he's like, "Well, look, I have this title, it's called Hulk Destruction, and you know, we need you to come in and do half of the book. We need you to fill in. If you do the half the book well, then the next issues, there's 3 more issues of this, we'll get you to do the other halves of those books as well if you do well." And I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds great." And he was like, this was a Friday, by the way, can you start today? Can you start today? Now, usually when this happens, they're desperate at this point, okay? If something like this happens to you, you know they need somebody like right away. They need the work done right away, which means that they are far behind on their deadline, so they're looking for someone. And probably Nate, he probably couldn't get anyone that he knew at the time. So he saw this, he saw I had work, he saw I had experience, and he called me up. So usually that's what happens. Usually that's what happens. It's out of the blue, it's when you don't expect it, and that's what happened to me, and that's how I got my very, very first Marvel job. I'm going to take you through that very first issue. It's Hulk Destruction #2, okay? And this is from what I remember. Like, I don't have the script, or I probably have it in an old email, but I'll tell you from what I remember what I was thinking of when going through this work. But let's go through these pages, okay? Here's the first page here, and I'm looking at it on my phone, but you are looking at it here. This particular one, so you got some tanks flipped, and the general there at the bottom, not the one with the mustache. I think that's, what's his name? The general with the mustache. That's, oh, I forgot his name. Thunderbolt Ross? I believe that's Thunderbolt Ross. I'm not sure. But the guy with the curly hair, that's Emil Blonsky. And he is going to be the Abomination. So if you guys watch the movie, you're familiar with the comics, he is the Abomination. And but I believe this was a flashback of where he gets his powers from. So this was the first one. I'll tell you, at this time, I was influenced a lot by Brian Hitch and mostly from David Finch. Those were my two biggest inspirations. Also Travis Charest as well. At that time, that was about those three, I'd say, influenced me the most when doing this book. I talked about before about Stephen Platt being a big influence, but at this point in time, he wasn't as big an influence as those three were. So that was page 7. And then the next page here, this is when Emil Blonsky, he grabs the can of, I don't know what it is, but as you can tell, he's getting all the electricity. I really like this page, the way these turned out. The things about the ink pages, you know, they, I think whenever they're inked, especially by somebody else, that's where you lose a little bit of the vision that you have, because they're going to add their own interpretation. Sometimes that turns out better, sometimes it turns out worse. With Mark, he did a really good job. Like, I wouldn't have inked it personally that way, but he did a really good job as well. Okay, but I'm just showing you the pencil pages for now. Maybe I'll show you some of his ink pages later on. But I actually like the angle that the third panel has here, where he's holding it. I completely forgot how it looks like colored. I don't think I have like they send you copies, but I'm not sure exactly where they are. Here's the next page here, where he's out of it, and then he wakes up, and then he realizes he has powers. And then the next page is even cooler, page 12, where I actually got to draw the Abomination and draw him in my style. So this was cool, and I had a lot of fun doing this. So this big splash of Abomination jumping down and the Hulk throwing him into the wall. Now, one thing I did show you, because looking back at the other Abomination pages, they told me that the Abomination had like this little mohawk, so I had to draw the mohawk in. So here he is, drawing the mohawk in, so that was a lot of fun. And then page 13, as you see here, Abomination grabs like this steel rod and then hits Hulk with it, and then Hulk grabs it. And what was a lot of fun was like drawing all the different, when drawing the Hulk, I took inspiration, of course, from David Finch, like I said, but also from Dale Keown, fellow Canadian, known for his Hulk stuff. So him in the pit, and all the veins and all the big bodybuilding type veins. I love drawing that kind of stuff. Even today, I love drawing that kind of stuff. Like, I'll be honest, if I were to draw a Marvel comic right now, I would like to draw the Hulk. Out of anyone else, I think I would love to draw the Hulk again, because the Hulk was a lot of fun. Either that or Iron Man. I think either one of those two would be a lot of fun to do, Hulk or Iron Man, if I were to ever go back into comic books again. I probably would never do a team book. I'd probably kill myself. But if I were to go back into comics, Hulk or Iron Man, those would be my two biggest things. So here, and then again here, this is a great page, 16. I love this one, where the Hulk smashing down. Like, you pick your spots with a lot of these pages here. Like, I could have done like something for the side just to really show the Hulk kind of going down into the ground, right, to really feel that impact. But I went for the more cooler angle as opposed to the one where it actually shows the better storytelling. So I'm not sure if page 1 that was the best choice when it came to storytelling, but I thought the angle was pretty cool. Also, you might notice, like in the second panel here, I use a lot of X's. Right, even on the outside you see X's. That just tells the inker to fill those particular sections in black. Okay, going on to page 17, or page 18. Page 18, and I love this. I love the face that I had for the Hulk there in that first panel. I love that. I love that. I love that look there. Though I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, when it was inked, and nothing against Mark, again, great guy, and he did a great job. It just lost something. It lost a little bit of something when I went to the inking stage, and I think the colors too. The way this was colored, when you don't have that control of the colors, like, it's never what you think it's going to turn out. Like when you don't have that control, and that's just the way comics is. You don't know how it's going to turn out. But here you see the cool tank, and there you can see my rivets. I'm the rivet guy. The next page, I thought that was pretty cool. The way the first panel there, where you see the explosion there, you know, the little smoke trails coming off of Blonsky there, or the Abomination there. I thought that was pretty cool, you know, and again the veins. I just love drawing the veins. And then page 20, this was a lot of fun for sure. The first panel, you can tell the Hulk throws back the missile at the tank, and then the second panel it picks up the tanks, you know, the top of the tank, uses it to start destroying the building, and you see the building destroyed there. And again, I took a lot of inspiration of I believe Brian Hitch's stuff. The way he did destruction, especially during the Ultimates, that is the kind of thing I was going for at that time. And you see the Hulk leaping out into space. And then the last page here for the second issue, this was a lot of fun to do. You see the helicopters coming down, and I believe I took a lot of inspiration from this panel from Trevor Hairsine and the stuff he was doing with the Ultimate Spider-Man. I think that was Ultimate Spider-Man he was working at the time. So I was looking at a lot of his work at the time, and I love the face that I have here for the General. I forgot if that was Thunderbolt Ross or not, but I love the face I did for that. And I also love the face I used for the Abomination at the bottom there. That was a lot of fun. So that's it. That was my very first job at Marvel Comics, doing Hulk Destruction #2. So I did, and they liked it enough. They had me come back for issues 3, 4, and 5. Oh, was there an issue 5? I forgot. I don't think there was, but 3 and 4, and that led to more Marvel work down the line. So that particular year, I did a ton of Marvel work, and I'm happy to show every single issue with you guys, just to show you my thought process whenever going through this type of work, especially when it's my very first Marvel work. So that was it, and much better experience than my first my work at DC, but maybe because I was more experienced at the time and I knew how to handle deadlines a lot better, to the point where they were willing to give me even more work. So I had a little bit of a run in Marvel. I wouldn't say the longest run, but I had a little bit of a run, and it was a lot of fun to do for sure. And again, thank you to my friends Nate Cosby, Mark McKenna for giving me that chance. Two great guys. I'm not sure if they're still working in Marvel right now. I'm not sure exactly what they're doing, but they were great guys to work with. So thank you guys for that opportunity. And thank you guys for following along. You know, it's a lot of fun, especially for you guys who are trying to get a Marvel, seeing how that first job came about for me. I hope you learned something from my story. Any comments or questions that you have about that, please do let me know down below. And please continue to follow along. I'm having a lot of fun with these Inktober drawings, and November's just around the corner, and things are heating up, my friends. I'm at my regular schedule. I've been promoting this for a couple weeks. My regular schedule will come out very shortly, and you guys will know I'm having this new series coming out. I can't say too much about it right now, but so many things in the pipeline I'm really excited about, and I hope you guys will as well. Please continue to follow me on social media: Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram at Box Office Artist, Facebook.com/TheBoxOfficeArtist. Again, hit that like button, and please hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed yet. And if you have subscribed, thank you so much. It means so much to me. My name is James. I'm the Box Office Artist, and I'm here to say keep drawing, and I'll see all of you guys tomorrow.